This is Grappling Greg, and you're watching Squared Circle.
Alright, we are live. This is the Squared Circle, December 23rd. I want to wish everybody a happy holiday out there. 2 days before the big day there.
Yes.
And we have, this is a monumental episode here. We are joined once again, John and I, by the incomparable Mr. Josef Schmidt.
Yes.
How you doing tonight, sir?
Very good, very good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. You know, it's always an honor to be here, always my pleasure, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to be discussing tonight. And
Well, the number one topic, you brought us quite the item here.
This is a very prestigious episode of the Squared Circle because we unveil to you tonight the very, very prestigious Squared Circle television title.
yeah,
correct.
that thing is
himself.
amazing.
The man himself.
Amazing. Look at that thing. Yeah,
That is a work of art.
Yes.
and you know, part of the history is made today, where it's presented, and then March 28th, when it's going to be decided for the first time, the first champion ever between Troy Stevens and CT's 203 Lucas Sharp.
Lucas Sharp.
Lucas Sharp.
Yeah, that is going to be a match.
I don't know if you're aware of the monkey gate that happened. Hollywood J, there was some controversy with a little payoff to Mr. Sharp and some Rugat's, you know, the Connecticut screw job.
Well, I heard that you threw a banana at him.
No, I've had my reservations about.
You weren't flashing the banana from the crowd. You didn't distract him with a banana. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
A monkey being the first Squared Circle television champion. I mean, kind of like much the way the McMahons had their reservations about Daniel Bryan being the WWE champion. I don't know if this necessarily, not to rip them off, what's best for the business of this show. Someone like Lucas Sharp
I
or
see.
Troy Stevens would be a much better fit. As far as I mean, I know the man is over, and I know the man is injured, and I want you to know and everybody else to know once again that I had absolutely nothing to do with that.
I don't know. It sounds fishy to me.
Yeah.
Sounds very fishy, or should I say, very monkey to me.
Yeah, I'm a little
Monkey business.
Monkey business. Too much monkey business, to be
Yep.
honest with you.
Well, my name will be cleared in due time.
Monkey
I
Gate
know
2014.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
that. Right.
And we had some found footage, security footage of Hollywood J having a discussion with Lucas Sharp, and we were able to clean it up and get the audio. And, you know, it's damning evidence, but Hollywood J still denies.
I deny it emphatically.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, as you mentioned, Lucas Sharp and Troy Stevens will be the finalists
That's
for
right.
the only television title in the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I'm really undecided as to who I would want. I mean,
They're both good athletes, you know. There's nothing you can take away from either of them. They both have good skill, good wrestling ability. They have they're great cruiserweight, midweights. They're kind of right on that line right there. So
Yeah.
they're not exactly like high flyers, but they're right in the middle of that high flying technical ability. And the only people that are going to win is the Squared Circle, the fans, and everyone who comes to see that match, because it's going to be war, and you know, a war to have the first time history of the Squared Circle television title. That's a big honor, you know. To be the first of anything is when you get immortalized in something.
That's right.
Yes.
You know, to be the first. Anyone can be second, everyone can be third, but there can only be one first.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Good point.
The first Intercontinental
point.
champion was Pat Patterson, and that will never be taken away from him.
Right.
Not at all. I was enjoying the Legends House. I actually just started watching that, and Mean Gene's my favorite.
Yeah.
He's a grouchy old man.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the most entertaining guys, I thought.
Well, when they approached you to do Legends House, how come you had to decline?
Because I wasn't old enough. You know? I didn't want someone too handsome, and Ashley would have been in trouble.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
We'll have to talk to Mrs. von Schmidt.
Hey now. So you also have other belts as well, new belts, which will be debuting when PWA returns.
The Ox Baker title will be decided too that night, and we're looking at a good match right now. It's going to be definitely a good heavyweight match. Like the first contender for it is El Leon Apollo. We've seen him beat Dredd at the last show, at the anniversary show.
Yes.
So he's the first one that's in that mix for it. Now just seeing who's going to be second, I mean, there's so many good talents to pick from, but there's, Just Incredible, there's Wrecking Ball Legursky, who's looking to make a full return now. He has his foot surgery done, and he'll be recovered by March. Who knows? I might throw my name in the hat there, but it's a prestigious belt as well. Any title is just always an honor, and it's just amazing. But whereas the thing that differs between the Ox Baker title and the TV title is, Ox Baker was the current title holder of that. He was, Wrecking Ball was the first champion, and then Ox Baker won by forfeit. And, so this will be the third one, the third person to get it, or maybe a two-time person if it's Legursky. So that's also going to be another good one. Who knows? Maybe Bull Dread.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe he's going to be on a run. He got the NEW tag titles with Ron Zombie.
Right.
This might be his year to start collecting gold like his old friend.
Josef von Schmidt.
Like his old friend. I don't know.
You mentioned Ox Baker, and we just lost him recently. We did a tribute to him, and just from your perspective, I know he was a mentor to you, and you spent many of his last days with him.
Yeah.
If you want to expand on that.
Yeah, he was just an amazing man. Like, the first time I really met him was in 2009, and he really took me under his wing. It was the first, it was really, realistically, a lot of people do the meet and greets, and I don't know what they're called, where they bring all the wrestlers together.
Yeah.
Like,
Fan Fest.
Fan Fest, yeah.
Right.
So that was the first and only one I've ever done in my life. Because every time Fan Fests or any kind of thing like that fall, I've always been busy. I've always been traveling. Usually I'm out of the country. But that was the first one that I've done, and he took me under his wing that day. It was me and ODB had a table, and then Ox came over and pretty much took me under his wing. And, every time I seen him at shows, and we'd always sit together, and he'd always, give me the knowledge that he would share with me. And those are some things that you can never get. Like, the knowledge that he gave me, no one that hasn't met him or known him yet will never get.
Yeah.
Firsthand. They'll get it, second hand through me, or third hand through someone else. Or
we had him on as a guest on the Top Rope, one of the shows I used to be on, and he was talking about you before I even met you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact.
Yeah.
Speaking very highly of you.
Like, here's a good story about Sergeant Slaughter. Ox Baker, and I had a match with Sergeant Slaughter in 2009, and Ox Baker told Sergeant Slaughter that he should put me over in Laconia, New Hampshire, and Sergeant Slaughter agreed to it, but it was a spot show. There was no storyline. There was no nothing. So I said, I'm not going to go over Sergeant Slaughter. And Ox was like, well, why didn't you do that? He's like, that could have made, help make your career. And I was like, well, I go, if it was a storyline and there was a title involved and then something was building, I go, then yes. But there's only, 600 fans here. Like, they want to leave happy. They came here to see Sergeant Slaughter, so, and that's what happened. We had a 30-minute match, and, in the end, Sergeant Slaughter won, and the place, exploded. The roof almost came off the building, and that's exactly what I wanted, rather than just I would have beat Sergeant Slaughter, and then it would sound like crickets in the building.
What you did was literally best for business.
Yeah.
From the moment I've met you, I walked into PWA just cold when we started doing the show a while back, and you've just always shown just a tremendous amount of respect, tremendous amount of just self-control, and just absolute just authority and without being overbearing, without being, mean or, malicious. And you teach the youth program, and you teach the adults, and it's just amazing to me, the person that you are, and just the training that you give people, not just in ring, but just psychology, and the training just how to be a good person.
Yeah.
And I really, on air, I will say that I appreciate it. And the work you do with my son and the other kids is just really exemplary. And we were talking before the show about, how you're a mentor to, all the students.
Yeah.
Not just in wrestling, but in life.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say this because I'm sitting here with you. I'm always a truthful person. I always tell the truth, straightforward, regardless if someone likes it or not. But I really like your son, and I think he has a lot of potential to grow into wrestling, and he definitely has that aggressiveness that a lot of people don't have, and that's one of the main things that you need. If you have aggressiveness and you have that will to do it, then the sky's the limit.
You can do anything if you put your mind to it. He puts his mind to it.
But it's aggressiveness.
Right.
There's not everyone can do it, even though they want to do it. There's you can line up 100 people that want to do it,
right.
But maybe 3 of those people will do it because they have that tenacity and they have that push forward mentality, and that's what you need in wrestling. I met William Regal backstage at WWE one time when I was doing some work there, and I was talking to him, and he just released, it could have been a while ago, but I just re-seen something that he released, the top 10 tips of becoming a pro wrestler, what you need to do. And, I shared it with my students, and it's really amazing, what these old-timers, I don't like to call them old-timers, but the veterans really push, the ones that really knew what it was like to travel all the time, push, miss their family, and continue to, go from town to town, state to state, country to country, making a living. And, there's not too many people that have that anymore. So I'm just curious how the wrestling business is going to turn out, as
Right.
time goes on and on and on.
Right. Well, I think that guys like you, and of course Northeast Wrestling, and the quote unquote independent promoters are kind of keeping that spirit alive, and almost like the training ground alive. And I know you've got some, I don't know how much we can talk about it, some plans in the future for additional training centers, and I'm hopefully that other guys like you across the United States, across the world, are going to create that, independent system that will train, all these kids like my own son in the right way,
right.
So that it isn't just one option. There isn't just the performance center in Florida,
right.
And that's it. Because really, that's, visibly at least, commercially, the only option at the moment. Right. TNA is kind of on the border, and Ring of Honor is giving it a good run. Yeah. But realistically, the big money player at the moment is the only game in town.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's the facilities that I'm working on right now. I can talk about a little bit. Is Laconia, New Hampshire, where we have our second mainstay shows that we do right now. So we're going to be looking to open a facility in January 2015, and then in February, the third week of February, I'll be down in Ecuador to help Mini Schmidt. I mean, some remember him, some don't. And he's going to be opening the PWA in Ecuador, which is also going to be working with WAR. WAR is one of the premier places in Ecuador, so it's good to have that, and good to have a backing by a very reputable company there. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, and if people don't remember, Little Schmidt started out as Eddie Escobar.
Yep.
And the Von Schmidt Nation injected your DNA.
Yeah.
Right. Von Schmidt's DNA. Yeah. And he became Little Schmidt, and I believe he's holding a title in Ecuador now.
Yeah, he had. There were 2 companies. He won, I think, the WAR heavyweight title, and then there was another one. Forgive me if I don't remember the name of it. But I know WAR. WAR is a very, very reputable company down there.
Yep.
And the other one is maybe too, but I just don't know as well as what I do WAR.
Right.
Is he still using the Little Schmidt?
Yeah, he actually is. He's doing the VSN because now, realistically, we're doing the Injustice League here, and we're really not doing any more of the VSN. And it's good to see that he branched off and he's continuing to make the VSN his own. He actually has a girl with him that I actually watched a few of her matches, and she's a high flyer, and I was really impressed with like watching some of their matches down in War, and it's very, very heartwarming to see that they continue to expand and do well. You know,
That's great.
Little Schmidt is a member of the Squared Circle Facebook group, and he posts his match on there. So if you go on and you do a search for Little Schmidt, you can see all the matches that he posts. And I keep up with him, and I chat with him every now and then. And his son, I remember when his son was born, and now it's amazing to watch him grow up online.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because we used to see him at the matches.
Right.
And as you know, a baby, a newborn.
And now he's growing up.
Yeah, and you know,
Yeah.
and it's just like, it's like watching my own child grow up again.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of the thing too that we're going down there in February is because we didn't get a chance to baptize him. I'm his godfather, and so we're actually going down there for his baptism as well. So it's, you know, it's just so many mixed emotions going down there. You know, it's going to be great to see him, great to see my godson, and to catch up with his family, and then obviously push forward the wrestling down there because I mean I love wrestling. Like, that's the thing. Like, some people think I'm overbearing sometimes. Some people think I'm like conceited or I have some kind of bad attitude towards wrestling, but it's not that. It's I love it so much, and like it's more
a concern for it.
Yeah, you know, someone like me is just I'm training all the time. I'm lifting all the time. I'm eating right all the time. I'm pushing everything, doing interviews. I'm here with you. You know what I mean? And I do magazines.
Yeah.
And that's the things that you need to do to make it. And, you know, a lot of these guys are just on the independents, or they badmouth me and they wrestle once every 3 months. And, you know, they don't go to the gym. They don't do anything. They're 5 feet tall. You know, I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
And they badmouth me. Like,
You have a ranking in one of these magazines now, I understand?
The PWI.
Yeah, 6 years in a row I've ranked in them. And I'm at 3... I don't know what I am this year. 359?
Yeah.
Or 3...
Mid 300s.
Yeah, somewhere right there. And it's just an honor to be ranked 6 years in a row, and you know I get a lot of backlash because of that too. You know.
And you know, not only are you 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'4".
Right. I've seen you do high flying stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen you do like just like street brawl stuff, and everywhere in between. You're not just a one-trick pony. You're not, you know, just one style.
No.
You've got some lucha style to you because you've been down and trained down in Mexico.
I've done 3 tours in Mexico.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, some guys only have the 5 moves of doom.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Cena.
Especially big guys, you know.
Yeah, and that's my point. Yeah, and you, I've seen you do a little bit of everything, and a little bit of everything well.
Yeah.
You know,
And that brings up this match coming up Saturday. It's me versus Tyson Dukes. He's from Smash Wrestling in Canada, but we're going to be wrestling in Lancaster, PA, and I'm looking forward to that because he's a technical wrestler, and I don't very much often get in the ring with technical wrestlers, but I enjoy technical wrestling. So it's gonna be good, you know, and it's gonna definitely test me.
What's this
which I'm
company
looking
out
forward.
there in Lancaster?
Lancaster Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
and you've been there several times.
Yeah, I was there from day one. It's a company that's 3 years old, and I was the first guy they brought in to help their champion get over.
Okay.
And realistically, I never thought I was gonna go back. And like, so I made sure, like, not that I don't always go out there and give it 100%, but I went out there and gave it 150%. And once I did, they came back and they were just like, whatever you want for pay, we'll pay you.
Wow.
And I've been there ever since. The only times I'm not part of the show is if there's a tag team tournament, or if I have something else that comes up, like if I'm out of country, or you know, something that has some kind of TV. And other than that, I'm there every show.
So the future for PWA, you mentioned the the two schools. You're looking to open up a different location here in Connecticut.
Yeah, a bigger one because the one that we have right now is just we've outgrown it, and I'm looking forward to putting 3 rings up at once, so that way we can get more people training at the same time, and it just kind of helps have all the classes together, and when 30 people show up and there's one ring set up,
It's tough.
yeah,
I've seen it on those nights. I've been there on those nights, and it's interesting.
Yeah, so that's what we're really looking forward to, is really expanding the space and letting people have equal ring time. And it's not fair to some of the students. And I mean, now it's kind of balanced because like sometimes I do afternoon classes, then we broke up the youth, and then we do the night classes. But that's what we can do in this current facility, and that's why we're looking to expand.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to getting the space that we need.
And your intent is also to have performances right there.
Yeah, we're looking to do weekly shows, and we're going to do basically, I don't know if we're going to do pay-per-views or ITV. We're still going to look at the logistics for that, and that'll actually give the opportunity for the TV title to be defended every week. So
Right. That's the way of the future, the internet.
Yes.
yeah, and just learning how to make money off of it, I think.
Well, I mean, between we were talking about like a Netflix kind of arrangement,
Yeah.
or
we-
Roku, that kind of thing. I know we were
Yeah.
discussing that. And
We were looking into that, and just nothing really, nothing has really come solid with it.
right.
There's a few leads, but we're still
Well,
looking to
like
get solid.
everything, it takes time and,
Right.
and it takes effort and phone calls and meetings.
Could be
and-
something where you start out small and work your way up. I don't know, because we've
Yeah.
even toyed around with that idea of a podcast, like a lot of the wrestlers have podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a matter of the infrastructure is more
Right.
the issue.
We wouldn't know the first thing
Technology
about
behind
right.
it for us, right?
Yeah.
I'm used to this is like amazing to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I came from the old school before we had cell phones, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break
I think
kayfabe.
my
Mine's even smaller than this.
That's what she said.
My first cell phone was this size.
yeah, right. And it was like permanently bolted to the in between the two seats of the car.
Yeah.
I remember those too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not to date myself.
Right. But I got a few years, I think, on both of you. So
Yeah. I had a
But-
beeper.
yeah.
So you basically, getting back to your travels throughout the world, Mexico, Europe.
Yeah. I've done training in England. I helped Pro Wrestling Pride. I trained a lot of their guys up there. I did seminars with them on the 2 tours of England I did.
You ever think about Japan?
I thought about it, but for some reason, it's just I don't really have that drive to go there. I honestly don't.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys who offered it to me. Harley Race talked to me a little bit about it, and Nick Busick, the bully,
Yeah.
he talked to me a little bit about it. And I might be interested in it, but like I'm not gonna go and push like super hard to get there because I'm happy like January 30th, 31st, and February 1st I'll be in Texas for the first time with Red River Pro Wrestling. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm just continuing to.
Texas was always big with wrestling too.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Von Erichs. Do we have a call?
We do have a call. You can take it right there.
You are live on the Squared Circle.
Yes, sir. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
We are wonderful.
Wonderful.
Good. I'm enjoying the interview. I don't know if Mr. Von Schmidt remembers, but I actually had the pleasure of meeting him about 6-7 months ago. I was running the treadmill up at Planet Fitness up in Meriden,
Okay.
which is my usual haunt when it gets too tough to run on the roads.
Yeah.
And I saw him, and he had a PWA shirt on, and there's not too many people when I go to Planet Fitness that are 6'4", so I figured it was him. So I went up and introduced myself and said I knew him, and said I was a friend of Tom Dacey's. And despite saying that, he was still very nice to me. So I wanted to say it was nice to see you again, Mr. Von Schmidt.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
I did have a sort of a wrestling question I wanted to ask, and I want to ask the question, and I'll just hang up and listen to the answer. when I was on the treadmill, I was watching Sports Center, and they had CM Punk, I think his name was,
Yep.
wrestler, but he was leaving wrestling and going into mixed martial arts, and he was talking to, I forget who the interviewer was, and he was talking about his new endeavor. It's a two-part question I have for Mr. Von Schmidt, and if you guys want to chime in on it too. First, how successful do you think he will be? And secondly, do you yourself consider or ever thought about maybe jumping ship and going into mixed martial arts? And how do you think a wrestler would do in that arena? And I'll hang up and listen to the answers. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you very much, Ed. That's a good question. I think
Yeah.
we have an expert here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how he's going to do, like, in his winning record, like wins-loss, but I'm sure he's definitely going to make a good amount of money for a signing bonus and for the first hype of the match. And there's going to be a lot of pay-per-view buys, merchandising. So money-wise, I think he's going to do really well. Fighting-wise, I don't know. I know he was training a little bit of Muay Thai with the Gracies, and realistically, the Gracies were great, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to bash them at all. They were great in the beginning when no one knew how to defend against them, because they did a lot of chokes and they did a lot of things where they used their gis to use chokes and to body scissor, and he would always grab his pant leg and he would tie it in so he couldn't breathe. But I don't know how effective that's going to be nowadays, because you don't have a gi anymore.
Right.
Like, you only have boxing trunks.
Can I
or
interrupt
fighting
you? We
trunks.
have a special call for you.
Hmm.
You are live on the Squared Circle.
Hi.
Hi.
I know the connection is bad because you're calling from
Hello.
Hector.
Ecuador.
Minnie, how are you?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm coming February to give you another shot of DNA. I'm coming in February to give you another shot of
Here
DNA.
calling to give you an update of what little Schmidt does overseas here in Ecuador.
Very good, very good.
We're listening.
Yeah, I hear the Square Circle has gotten a TV championship. Is that correct?
We do.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Sitting right here on the desk.
Congratulations to the to the Square Circle for having a TV championship that is going to be defended in PWA.
Yes.
Me, here in Ecuador, I am trying to build the VSN Ecuador edition. And I already have one recruit. Her name is Tara Stein. And I am working with her so we can capture the WAR Tag Team Championships very, very soon to add to our collection of gold for the VSN.
Very good. Very good, very good. I'm happy to hear that. I've actually seen some of your matches. I was watching one of your tag team matches recently, the one that you posted, and I was actually really impressed with some of the stuff I've seen. She's doing really good.
Thank you, Master. Everything that she has learned from me, and therefore she has learned it from you.
Yeah.
You have shown how great you are with your techniques and how you teach all the students at PWA, and that's why I'm still going strong overseas.
I like the sliced bread to the outside when you gave the guy, he was on the apron, and you gave him the sliced bread to the outside. I like that move a lot. It looked really good.
Thank you, Master. It was something to impress all the fans here in Ecuador. They really have taken a liking to me and what I represent. And I always tell them that I come from PWA, from Connecticut.
Yes, I see your a lot of your posts. You're wearing the PWA shirt proudly.
Yeah. What's not to like about you? You look exactly like me.
Exactly.
Minnie Schmidt.
I am working on some projects over here. I'm trying to make PWA a truly international company, and I'm going to be working with the master to see if we can do something about this.
Well,
Yeah.
we're hoping that you can pull it off, and wish you all the luck in the world. And you've got the right mentor. We're sitting here heaping praise upon Josef von Schmidt.
He is the best.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
We still have you, little Schmidt?
Are you there?
I think we lost him.
We may have lost.
Remember that, John?
Oh,
There he is. There he
All right,
is.
there he is. Little Schmidt, the best to you and your family. Your wife posts some wonderful pictures of your son. He's growing up to be a fine young man, and hopefully follow you right into the business.
He definitely will. He definitely will. I thank you guys for giving me the chance to talk to you and keep everybody posted and keep them updated. That little Schmidt still goes strong, and eventually I will make a surprise visit to the States. And
We welcome you anytime, sir, anytime.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
We're actually looking, a couple companies in Canada are actually looking to bring Mini Schmidt up there to tag with me. So in 2015, we might see me and Mini Schmidt reunite. So
The reunification.
I think that's as close as he's going to get to America because there's already one too many me here. So,
Jacob and I used to do a show at ETV, and we had Little Schmidt on, and it was his first interview, Little Schmidt's very first interview on television, and I'll have to bring in the DVD, and
You
it was
have to do that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
He was an awesome guest, and just a fine gentleman.
yeah, and I don't want to veer away from the CM Punk question.
Yes, yeah.
Because it was a great question.
Yeah. But we had to get to.
No, of course. And before I forget, because I know how I am.
Continue.
And like I said, the money is going to be there, but who is he going to really fight, and who, are they going to pamper him, or are they going to give him actual good talents and good athletes to fight? Because if so, I know what wrestling does to someone's body.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's probably going to heal up really well, but then someone like Silva or someone is going to give him a 360 kick off the cage, and that's going to be it. His eyeballs are going to be on the mat.
Right.
Well, here's the big controversy, really, though, is he coming in having little to no fight experience in the UFC.
Right. You can only train so much.
Right. Do you think that other guys in the UFC that have been there for a while should feel slighted by him getting a spot on the pay-per-view? Or my opinion is that he's going to bring more eyes and more interest into the product. So maybe they got the bump on that pay-per-view, but the overall product is going to gather fans.
I think so. I mean, it would be the same thing that with wrestlers. What wrestlers have a problem with is why are NFL football players that don't make the cut, the first person that, or the first people that WWE brings in instead of people who have been training and working the industry. And I think that's the problem. Like, now you could see why NXT is going all indie workers, because they recognize the problem that they had. So CM Punk might draw something, but if they continue that trend, it's going to be like what happened with wrestling. I mean, realistically, wrestling is not the machine or the beast it was. And a lot of people say MMA has killed that, but it's not. It's the business itself has killed it by putting a lot of people that don't understand showmanship, because wrestling is showmanship. It's not pounding each other in the head, repeatedly until someone's teeth fall out.
Right. But I call it stunt casting. By bringing in a guy like CM Punk, it's going to bring, so many people are talking about it outside of the normal, UFC wrestling genre. They've got other people that don't normally talk about UFC, don't normally talk about wrestling, talking about it. And you yourself, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but you bring in a guy like Stevie Richards, who's a known entity, and you put Stevie Richards on the poster, and people recognize him. And like you mentioned, Sergeant Slaughter, that the people came into that building to see Sergeant Slaughter, but in turn they saw you.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and I
people-
agree. I agree with that. Like, CM Punk equals Liberace in WrestleMania. Like, CM Punk equals Mr. T.
Yeah.
Like in WrestleMania. You know what I mean? For UFC. So, like, is it a bad business plan? I don't think so. But, I mean, there's going to be a lot of MMA fighters that are bitter. And, you know, you never are going to succeed when there's too many bitter people behind you. Like,
Right.
you can only push so much. But if you have enough people, you know, pulling you down,
Yeah.
like, you're never going to get that success that you need.
Yeah.
The thing that always
And-
concerned me, a lot of other wrestlers showed up in the UFC, namely Brock Lesnar. And we
Yeah.
all know how tough he is in wrestling.
Bobby Lashley is another guy.
And Brock Lesnar in his first match in the UFC lost within 30 seconds.
Yeah. And, yeah.
But then he went on to become champion. Mm-hmm.
Eventually.
Also.
Right.
But you never know. Is it rigged? Well, I don't know. You know, it just,
I'll tell you, you know, if it's rigged and those guys are taking some of the beatings they're taking, wow.
Yeah, no, I just don't know anymore, you know. And but believe me, I'm not taking anything away from Brock Lesnar. He's got hands the size of that telephone.
Yeah.
He's got lunchbox hands. Like,
Yeah.
I seen him for the first time in a dark match in New Haven Coliseum. And I thought someone shaved a gorilla and released it. You know, that's how big the guy was. And for the last part of that question, I like this way too much to do any MMA. So the answer to that question is, like,
Right.
I am not going to be. You're not going to see me in any MMA ring whatsoever.
Okay.
Because, like, I've grown accustomed to where everything is right now. And,
Right. And you like exactly
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it is.
Right.
and there's not enough money for me to get my nose pushed through the back of my head and
ears.
10 of my my ears to be like this big, like the cauliflower ear. I'm like, nah, it's not for me. You couldn't pay me enough.
And besides, who's going to lead this group called the infamous Injustice League?
Yeah,
You did that.
we'd have to ship Mini Schmidt back.
So what's this all about, this infamous
Well, you know,
Injustice League?
well, we see a lot of things that are happening in the wrestling business, and the infamous Injustice League is, you know, we're looking for justice, but it's our own justice, and you know, it's not good versus evil like where you might think it would be. It's more along the lines of, you know, seeing what we see and how we see it should be done, and you know, we have a good. Pretty good base form right now with Troy Stevens as a member, James Barton Rigby, the Cubador, Pedro Wandones III, and then we actually do have VSN member Stevie Z. So there's 6 of us, and you know, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what kind of havoc we cause and what kind of outcome we change in history.
It's got 2 belts so far, possibly another one.
Yeah, we're you know, I think it's just like it's like the pack of wolves. You need to have a strong base around you, no matter how tough you are or how big you are. If you don't have the right people watching your back, you're not going to succeed.
And the mighty Cubador, right, is quite the character himself.
Yes.
He's got his own line of comic books.
Yeah.
Yes, he
You can
does.
see him, and the artwork is really amazing.
Yeah.
I must say that, you know, he's definitely created a brand for himself.
Yeah, and my favorite move of his is the chloroform sleeper. Like, that is actually one of my favorites. It's one thing that I haven't seen done.
Yeah.
And when I seen it for the first time, I thought it was really ingenious, you know. And you know, and that's the things I like in wrestling, because like, you could see everything. Like, I'm not going to knock any other wrestling company, but like, when I turn on Ring of Honor or certain companies like that,
Yeah.
I can watch a match, and then I can watch another match, and then if I close my eyes or I go in the other room to get something to drink, I come back and I continue to watch the match. It'll take me 10 minutes to realize that's a different match.
Yeah.
You know, because they all look like they're all cookie cutters, the majority of them, and they're all wrestling the same match. And I don't watch a lot of wrestling, but one thing that was really good, like, we just got the WWE Network, because when I'm traveling, I can watch it on my phone, like, give me something to do. And for, you know, $9, you know, hey, why not? You know, I mean, I buy a lotto ticket every day, so
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's buying one for the month. And like, I watch NXT, and I like the girls match, Charlotte and Sasha Banks. That was the one where Kevin Owens debuted.
Right.
And what I liked about it is that I watched it, and the matches that I watched is the same style that I train. Like, and I don't watch it.
Impressed by the NXT product a little bit.
Well, I'm not that I'm superly impressed, but I'm just happy to know that that's the way I train. Like, I don't really watch it, and then when I tune in, and it's like, these are all the things that I teach the fundamentals of my students, and it just it blows me away that someone who's not really watching the product or not, have my fingers on the pulse of WWE wrestling or NXT with all the independent guys there. That they're wrestling very similar to our training style.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Sasha Banks and Charlotte. You have a few women in PWA. Were you thinking about expanding that and possibly starting a PWA women's title?
We're possibly thinking about that. I actually, we have a couple of new girls that are training that are not really have debuted yet, as well as I really like Tessa Blanchard. I think she's coming up really good. She's not from PWA, but she's from the South. Yeah. And
related to Tully Blanchard?
Tully Blanchard's daughter, yes.
Wow.
I mean, she's doing really well. I mean, there's some girls, it's hard. And like, again, I don't want to start sounding like I'm hating on women's wrestling, but it's really hard in this business for women to get good because, one, sometimes they have trainers that pamper them, or two, it's just like they're not being pushed hard enough because once you push them hard, they quit. So it's just that fine balance. Like, I've had, 7, 10 girls come through my door, and, other than the youth, like, not many of them lasted,
Right.
So it's just a tough thing, but realistically, I don't want to produce garbage anyways.
Right. You mentioned the girls in the youth program. Amazingly, one of the girls came in a while after Jacob and the Maruka twins, and took to it like very quickly.
Yeah, she has the same aggression, like that ability. Like, you could see that with the right persistence in it and the right pursuit of it, like your son, she has aggressiveness. She's
But
aggressive with it. She's not afraid.
That Jacob stumbled upon, and even the Maruka twins, had difficulty with. She picked up on like right away.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just an innate talent or if it's just physiology or.
I mean, it's just that it's a talent, and it's in its genetics, I think, too, is part of it. But it's just that, like, that tenacity is something that you're born with, like, and you have to be born with it, or it's going to be really difficult. Not that you're not going to make it. Like, realistically, for me, it took me 8 years to really understand wrestling. Like, I trained for 8 years before I really got it, and like, where some of my students are coming along and they're 2 years, 3 years, and they're light years ahead of me at that point in my career, because
it's attributed to you.
Yeah, because of the stuff that I learned, and I learned not to do, and the ways I learned to push them, and but that's the thing. And then, like, I hope for the next generation of those guys that they push the next generation and they learn what they learned in 3 years in 1.5.
Yeah.
And that's how we hope it goes. So
And I got to say that your view and your way of looking at things is, a lot of mentors and a lot of people don't train and don't teach everything they know in fear that they're going to make themselves outdated or outmoded, that the student surpasses the master.
Right.
Well,
and you seem to come across as quite the opposite, that
Like
you're going to
mind.
everything
Because
you know.
I do, but I'm always studying, because when I go away on tours, like when I go to Mexico, or I go somewhere in Europe where I can train with someone who knows more than me, I'll learn new things, and I always continue to train and continue to learn. And I have a very famous saying, though. It's like, how do I put it? Is, you know everything that I taught you, but you don't know everything that I know. Hey, something like that.
Yeah.
And
whatever.
yeah, but I have no problem teaching the students that everything I know, because I want them to succeed, and I want them to know how to defend themselves. Like, there's different. There's the style of wrestling, which is a showmanship, and then there's also a style of wrestling that is called shooting. And when you shoot, like when you go to different countries, it's totally different. It's not like America at all. And, you know, especially where you go to countries that are poor and they're just only thinking like, I have to make wrestling. If I don't make wrestling, I am going to live in the streets. I'm going to be without shoes. I'm going to be without clothes. I'm not going to eat.
That's important.
So those guys, they are 100% serious. They will snap your arms. They will do whatever they can. So, but me knowing that and me traveling to all those countries, I know all that stuff too. And so in the mix of teaching my students the wrestling end of it, I also teach them the shooting end of it, which is, you know, which is important because you never know. Maybe
part of the
one,
business.
it's a part of the business. You never know. 1 out of 100 matches you might get, and it might turn into a shoot match.
Right. We do have another call.
Right ahead.
You're live on the Squared Circle.
Hey guys, it's Bill from North Haven. How
There
are
he
you?
is.
Oh, we're great. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. Hey, I'm calling in late, but I'm out remotely. I can't see the show, but I wanted to call and wish you guys happy holidays.
Thank you very much.
And say you know, have a great new year. And is Mr. Von Schmidt on the phone?
Oh, yes, he is.
He's right
Yes,
here.
I am. How are you, sir?
Hey, how are you? Hey, I just wanted to say also that I really enjoy PWA.
Thank you.
And the guys know I'm a fanatic about the Squared Circle, but I'm also a fanatic about PWA and look forward to your next show. It looks like in March,
Yeah,
correct?
March 28th in Bristol.
All right. And I got to meet one of your, I call them the minions, but Troy Stevens about 2 weeks ago out while I was doing some Christmas shopping, and you have a fine, outstanding wrestler there. So I just
Thank
thought
you.
you should know that.
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad that the students personify, you know, respect when they're outside in the real world. So that's definitely a huge thing of honor for me that they have that.
No, you're doing a great job. And listen, I won't take up a minute more time. I'm sure you guys got a lot to talk about. Hey, guys, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and thanks again.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Very, very much, Bill.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, he usually calls every week, and sometimes he even drops in on us.
That's right.
By surprise.
Mm-hmm.
He was at your last show,
Yeah.
and he's like just crazy for PWA.
I mean, it's a great product, you know, and partially the thing why we're taking time off, as Liz said, is injuries. But like, I am like a perfectionist in certain things, and like to as much as I can get it. Like, I'm not gonna like cancel a whole show because like one thing is off.
Yeah.
But
Right.
like, I'm a perfectionist, and with the injuries that we have, like including myself, it's just that we can't give the right show. Like, I don't feel right taking fans' money if we're not producing a good enough product.
Yeah.
And you know, some companies are fine with that, and that's fine. But me myself, I'm not going to lower my standards because other companies
Right.
will.
And then 99% of your show is PWA homegrown.
Yeah.
You're not bringing in, once in a while
Yeah.
you're bringing in an outside source, but 99% of the time it's the PWA players, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's the PWA roster.
Yeah, and what we try to do, if we do bring outside guys in, we try to match up some of the current top indie guys around the world.
Yeah.
And we try to match them up with the PWA students as they progress.
Yeah.
Like I always scout talent. I always try to see who has ability out there and who could give a Troy Stevens a match, who could give James Martin Rigby a match, who can give you know, Wrecking Ball Legursky a match. And you know, as much as you want to keep it in-house as much as possible to create the homegrown talent, they're only going to learn so much.
Yep.
So you need to expand, so you need to rehash. I call it like you know, it's like the genetic pool. You know, you need to bring in fresh blood and fresh talent because you only can grow so much by dealing with the same people over and over and over and over again. So, and actually, I've seen that the way I learned that lesson was CCW. Was Connecticut Championship Wrestling.
Right.
Yep.
I used that as a very valuable lesson. I didn't work for them, but I seen some of the students that came out there and they were having great matches. And then once they came out of there and they started wrestling other people, like their matches were just garbage. and I'm not going to go into any names, but
Right.
like you go from seeing a phenomenal match of two of the students, and then you go see them wrestle somewhere else, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is
It's just not the
Right.
same
it's
thing.
trash. No, it's
Right.
trash. You know.
It's like a band that can only play with each other, and then you stick them into a different band, and they just don't fit.
You just
Yeah.
have to be careful who you get from other places and make sure they fit well with
And that's
what you have.
that's the important thing of studying. Like, so when I take the time off, I'm actually studying. Like, I'm studying people from Canada right
There is
now.
no time off.
Well,
Really?
right. I mean,
I know you. You're
Yeah.
always, somewhere doing something
Yeah.
involved with wrestling. If we don't see you,
It would drive you crazy not to be doing it.
well, true. I mean, what I mean is I'm taking time away from actually running the shows.
Right.
But you're right. There is no time off ever. And you're studying the talent that's out there, and that has to be that has to go well with your roster. Like, is there times that it doesn't go well? Yes, but you can only try your best, and that's what I mean about being professional. Like, I try to match the guys up as
Right.
best as possible,
Right.
but we've had 5 or 6 matches in the last 2 years that I thought were going to be really amazing, and then they turned out the opposite. Like, I was just like, ooh,
I mean, yeah, you can't predict everything, but and sometimes it's the wrong guy on the wrong night, or the right guy on the wrong
Yeah,
night.
and you don't know injuries,
Yeah.
because when you study tapes, you don't know that the guy wrestled the week before and then he tore an ACL, or
Yeah.
he tore his shoulder, or and then you don't know that, but you're expecting to get the guy 100% sometimes,
Yeah.
and the
They
guy
don't-
and he shows up at 10%.
Yeah.
you
It
know?
doesn't tell you.
No, exactly, and that's part of the problems with the business too, is that some guys don't have honor. They want to work, and that's part of the show, but I don't think that they should rob the fans.
We have the Thunderous one on the line
Oh, my
before we
goodness.
wrap things up
Yep.
here.
Thunderous Tom Dacey.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
We are wonderful,
Great.
brother.
I just wanted to wish everybody a wonderful holiday.
Yes, thank you.
I understand that the belt looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it does.
It's great.
I'm really looking forward to the next PWA show.
March 28th.
Yep.
I'd like to say hello to Mr. Von Schmidt.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very well.
And I just want to let the viewing audience know that I will be back on a part-time basis when I can.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I have an issue with my transportation at this time, so I will be producing Talking with Tom out of Wallingford beginning in February.
Yep. Yep. And of course, we'll always tune in.
And I will be appearing on the Squared Circle when I can.
Absolutely.
But I
Absolutely.
will still be uploading the show to YouTube for you guys. Matter of fact, last week's episode just finished uploading.
Yeah, and your name is right here on the title in front of me.
Absolutely,
So
because we support the indies.
that's
That's
correct.
right.
You bet your life.
You bet your life.
All right, brother.
Indies is where it all starts.
Yes, yes, that's all
That's
we've been
right.
talking about. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon, gentlemen.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we'll talk to you a little later on,
All
Tom.
righty.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hey, the thing I wanted to get to, we still have a few minutes. I want to congratulate NHTV intern turned professional recently, Kevin Capiello. Every week you see the beginning of our show, that opening segment, the squared circle,
Right.
and the bell goes off. That was used in his audition reel, and he got the job at WWE. He went to Full Sail University and is now in Stanford, and will start in January going on the road 50 weeks a year,
Wow.
traveling. And from what I understand, if everything works out well, he will be the guy with the earpiece, standing at gorilla position, notifying the talent what time to walk out of the curtain.
That
Very
is
good.
amazing.
From the squared circle to the WWE gorilla position.
Gorilla
Very good.
position. You can't get any better than that.
Can't get much closer than that, brother.
Right.
Oh, amazing. Good. Congratulations to him.
Yes,
Yeah, a round of applause
Kevin
for him.
Capiello. And every week we appreciate the opening, and we were talking about changing it, but I think we're going to have to save it now.
We're going to do that out of respect to Kevin
Yes,
Capiello.
we're going to have to save that because, fact is, we
They
know
got
that,
somebody to a very, very important place in life.
Yeah, and like I said, all the higher ups at WWE saw that opening and hired him, as part of his audition reel. So you know what, we're part of that lexicon now.
Exactly.
So and of course we've seen the Squared Circle on WWE programming. Steve Austin mentions us all the time.
Of course.
And it's just fantastic to be
Even Dunder's
a part of it. That's correct.
Personally.
It's fantastic to be a part of it. But
me.
we do a segment, Mr. Von Schmidt. We do a segment every week called Blowing Off Steam. It's where we talk about like the worst of the week and things that are bothering us.
Right.
And it's actually sponsored by American Steamed.
Okay.
It's our local burger joint, and you know about burgers coming from Germany, Hamburg.
Yeah, Hamburg.
So American Steamed, 92 Quinnipiac Street in Wallingford, is sponsoring Blowing Off Steam. And if there's anything that's got you upset, that you're not happy about, this is the time and the place. Of course, PG.
Realistically, I really don't have anything bad to say. Whatever people do wrong to me, it is what it is, and I'm not going to lower myself to that. So, like, I just wish everyone a happy holiday, and this is my Steam. And the best to you, because in 2015 I'm still going to kill it. I'm still going to do my best. I'm still going to travel the world. I'm still going to get my 22nd, my 23rd, my 24th title. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do, So thank you for loving me, hating me, whatever you do. But that's it.
I blow it off steam is they're bringing up this team called the Ascension, which is kind of like, to me, a Road Warriors ripoff. And there's this really funny, different team in NXT called the Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
I want to see them brought up.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the Normals, to be honest with you. But, there's always somebody going to rip somebody else off and steal their gimmick and steal their bits. And we know you're watching, and we appreciate when you steal our stuff, actually. And, you bet your life.
You bet your life.
Is going around and around, and I love it. We started a little revolution.
We started a trend,
I stole it from Groucho, and I fully admit, but I started saying it on the show, and it's just caught everywhere.
We got a song.
I think we got like 30 seconds left, but what's your blowing off steam before we hit it?
I think that's about. I think I can't top Josef von Schmidt.
Yeah, you're just going to continue to be successful. You know, success is the best way to drive your enemies down.
Yeah, and here's step number one.
Yeah,
step number one. We have the Squared Circle TV title.
But in all seriousness, I've put it out there before. I'll put it out there again. I want to squash all the negativity, and we don't all have to hold hands and sing "Kumbaya."
No. Thank you very much.
If you want to meet and shake hands, that's great. If not, let's agree to disagree and go our own ways.
That's it.
Good night and good luck.
Thank you.
Yep.